Mechanical online at shamechanical.com.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I need some real talk. Oh, I need some real talk. Give me some of that real talk.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate. Another week in and out. Do you think you're going to be right this week on more or less?
No, of course not.
You might be. I haven't looked. I'm going to be honest with you.
I haven't looked, but I'm going to say more now. And I do think it's more.
More than whatever number, because we're not
Whatever,
really keeping
we
track.
know we
But
don't.
the point is 500,000 or less per county. So starting always with Mecklenburg County, how many active and coming soons in Canopy MLS? Very low number. About what, 1,900, somewhere in that range was it last time?
I think it was less than that. You keep pushing it. I think
I keep
it's
trying to
like
believe the market will.
1,200. No, I think it was 1,200.
Oh, man.
But
I'm way
one
off.
thing I can say,
Yeah?
because you're before we
You can
start,
say whatever you want, by the way.
happy belated Father's Day.
Oh, thank you. That
Did
is
you
so
have a-
kind.
Did
How
you
was
have
Kevin's?
a good day? It was fine. It was good. We had dinner out with the whole family. Yeah, it was very nice. Some pasta.
I had a great one. I got to choose what was on the TV yesterday, so I watched a little golf. We made a little tacos. It was
Okay.
good.
I know
That was
you
when
always talk about tacos.
Well, I like tacos.
Okay.
They're pretty good.
Yeah,
So
they are.
I enjoy eating them. And if that's what, if Dad chooses, and, I like
That's
I
what
like the
we have.
tacos.
Yes, yes. So going back to the numbers,
Uh-oh. I was trying to distract you from the numbers.
I know you try to push.
Because Mecklenburg
the
County has
19
1.1 million
Yes.
population.
I know, but I think you have to. If you want more listings, we have to talk about. And I know you're going to talk about the medium wage,
What do we have to talk about?
but I think we have to increase the amount because it's hard to find anything below 500 in Mecklenburg.
Oh, so you're saying give up on 500,000 as
Well,
the benchmark?
because yes, it's a big city, many, the area, but we have many expensive areas. So 500, I think, is not really doable for the area that includes Charlotte, Lake Norman.
So do you think the
Valentine.
wages keep up with increasing beyond 500,000, not looking at 500,000?
No, I think the wages make people look outside Mecklenburg. So it's not about, yes, we are looking at this number, but I think that whoever can afford 500 is going outside Mecklenburg because then they can get more house for the same amount. So under 500, very hard to find a good, decent house. So people are looking for different counties and a little further, most people, in my humble opinion. But talking about something completely different than the 500, a new listing hit the market, $14 million in Davidson.
Wow.
Yes. So
Is it the perfect home?
I don't know if it's the perfect house, but it's one that I've been dating forever. Every time I'm in Davidson, every time I am in River Run, I make sure to drive by this house. And I've been dreaming about seeing it. And it finally hit the market. It has a vineyard.
Do y'all have a favorite restaurant to go to together?
Maybe. Do you know this house?
$14 million. I've seen it. Mame showed me.
You don't. So you're not like me. You don't drive
I
on
don't creepily
purpose.
drive past people's houses just to wonder if one day they ever decide to put it on the market. I will then feel like it's a loss to me.
I'm going to say it right here. Listing agent of the $14 million house, please have a broker's open so I can come and see it and
You could solve this with
pretend
it.
I live in this
You could
house.
solve this with an email.
I know. I'll do it later. Yes.
You
but it's-
suggesting to another listing agent what they can do. How do you think that would be received in this marketplace? Just out of curiosity.
you can have clients that might realize this is the one. So if I'm the listing agent, I'm like, let's do it. You never know. You never know.
14 million is a different game.
It's a different game. And I did not check, but I would say that not talking about lake homes, this is probably the most expensive house, at least north of Charlotte, because you might have in like Myers Park. But I would say in our area, in the Lake Norman area,
Off water.
off water, this is probably the most expensive ever.
It's Davidson.
It's Davidson, which is, I would say, the most expensive city.
Yeah.
So,
North of Charlotte.
and I joke, you were asking me, what if I moved from where
Dollar
I live
per
right
square
now?
foot. Let me be clear on that. Dollar per square
Yes,
foot.
yes.
Yeah.
So you asked me about me if I think about moving away or from Nordstone, and I joke because I started when I moved here 10 years ago, and many people won't understand, but if you look at the map, you will. So I moved to Vermilion first, then we moved a little north to Centennial, which is by Vermilion,
Great neighborhoods.
and then Nordstone. So I'm going,
Three great
I
neighborhoods.
joke, I know, but I'm like, I'm moving up. So I'm guessing that if one day I decide to sell my Nordstone house, I'll probably be in Davidson.
Have we
Because
talked
I'm
about your-
heading towards that.
Do you golf? Have we
No.
talked about this?
I do not
You,
at all.
you just see the value
am-
of a golf course
Of
as far as
course,
real estate.
of course, I saw the opportunity of buying a golf course house, and I do that to all my clients, all my buyers. It's more for me. Whenever we're looking at houses, I make them think about resale value. And of course, I did it to me. So I'm like, okay, I don't play golf, but I know it's going to be a selling point. So I got the house.
I think Nordstone has a waiting list of their membership, by the way,
Yes,
too, which is pretty
yes.
wild.
Even at the lowest level, which is basically the clubhouse and the pool, there is a wait list because they allow anyone to join. So you don't have to live in Nordstone to join the club.
Is there a wait list for buyers as far as just getting properties right now in the market? How's the inventory feel? Forget the number for a second. How's it feel when you're out there with buyers?
Feels painful. For my clients in any price point, it's been tough. It's been tough because inventory is non-existent or very low, too many buyers, and I can only imagine what's going to happen when the interest rates come down.
Are they ever going to come down, do you think, in reality? Like, are they ever actually going to come down?
I do believe they'll come down after the election. One way or another, I think it's being almost like artificially kept at 7-ish. And I do believe they'll come down to 5.5.
I don't know I don't think you have to describe it as artificial. It's a group of people who are making the
Well-
decision based on looking at data. That's not artificial. That is very direct.
But and I'm not a conspiracy theorist in any shape or form, but I do believe that inflation, everything is not like just a super precise data. I think there's people messing with it a little.
Okay, so
And a
then
lot.
predictions. Then because I think one of the things that gets forgotten about real estate is so geographically specific. Every market is different. You could have a macro and a micro at multiple levels. So you go from the country down to the state, down to the local. Okay.
Yep.
Zillow has revised their forecast model for May 2024 to May 2025. Home prices falling 1.2%. Between May 2024 and May 2025. They say it will drop 1.2%.
Country-wise,
I would imagine so, on some
has
type of
to be.
average equation that makes sense to them.
okay, but again, country-wise, and I do know areas that are not doing well, but our market, I doubt. I see it growing the regular 4 or 5% at least.
Oh, so you say 4 or 5%.
I'll challenge
regularly.
Zillow.
That's what you're... 'cause
In the
here's thing.
country, on average, yes,
Sure.
sure, it could drop, but I don't think our market in Charlotte will drop at all.
Well, because the next question is then, okay, if it's not going to drop, is it still a good investment tool? Do you think real estate is still a good investment tool for people?
I think it's the very best investment long term. There's nothing like real estate in long term.
If there's anything to
Nothing.
buy. So we'll find out if Claudia's right on more or less later on in the day. There's also might be some competition for Zillow. I'm just saying, this is word on the street. Today's Real Talk. Coming back, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate, Justin Ckezepis.
There's more of today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on the way from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, getting into a new work week, but the same old weather we've been used to for the last several days. Summertime really starting to lock in. The heat and humidity not going anywhere, and still very little to no chance of rain over the next several days. High temperatures in the upper 80s this afternoon, falling back in the mid-60s tonight. Upper 80s to near 90 through the middle of the week, and then we get even hotter as we get into the latter part of the week and into the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like iCats Public Transit.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree Live, get your weekend off to an early start on Thursday night with a Kids in America concert. This totally 80s tribute band will get you up and dancing. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with the concert beginning at 7. We will see you and your chairs Thursday, June 20th at Langtree, Lake Norman. Friday night at RevFast in Mooresville is the monthly Hot Rods and Hops Car Show. Cool cars, motorcycles, and trucks will be on display. LKN Mobile Eats and Hot Town Brewing will be on hand with smash burgers and cold brews. Join us Friday after 5 p.m. at the late Apex Storage Condos in Mooresville for Hot Rods and Hops. Birkdale's Live Under the Oaks concert series continues on Friday. The Ryan Bumgarner solo musical performance begins at 6 p.m. Kick back and relax on the green in front of the stage at Birkdale Village in Huntersville for the free Ryan Bumgarner concert Friday night. The annual Symphony in the Park is back this Saturday in Cornelius. Bailey Road Park welcomes the Charlotte Symphony and fireworks. Bring your chairs and blankets to enjoy this free, family-friendly show. The Symphony in the Park program and fireworks celebration begins at 6 p.m. Saturday at Bailey Road Park in Cornelius. The Kane Center for the Arts Week 3 of summer camps begins Monday, June 24th. Morning and afternoon camps for ages 5 to 17 include art, ceramics, paint, and clay. For more information on summer camp programs, visit canearts.org. That's C-A-I-N arts.org. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is racing ahead at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 10-race series night number 4 is on Tuesday, June 25th. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
It's today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate. All right, so Zillow says market will be down May 2025 compared to May 2024, 1.2%. We say nonsense. This is not local data. All right, so local data we're going to take a look at more or less 500,000. But Claudia says we shouldn't do 500,000 or less anymore. We need to up the amount because it's not realistic in the market anymore.
It is not. Not for Mecklenburg.
Okay.
It is not.
We'll find out about some of the outlying counties and see if anybody else is still safe. Zillow might have some competition. We're going to talk about that. But first, real estate investing.
Yes.
Does it make sense still to invest in real estate, to have a plan to invest in real estate, to try to include it or get into that game?
Yes, yes, and yes, and yes. And I always say it's the best investment long term. I don't think now it's the moment for people to want to play around and get a super deal and crazy cash flow or flip very easily. Can you find it? Yes, but the competition is super hard. We have too many people with a lot of money, investors, major investors ready to crush any regular person. So I say yes to investing always long term, having a strategy and waiting for the money to start coming.
It's interesting because before the break, you had said 5% per year is kind of the stat you threw out on the growth. So there's a group that I follow on Twitter, Resi Club is what it's called, and it's made up of people in the real estate, and they've been putting together data. So they're saying since 1975, the average 5-year return on U.S. home prices has been 26+%.
Okay.
And so that averages out if you take 5 years. Mm-hmm. But here's how people get stuck in real estate. It's like you're saying. They want to have a very short term in the asset and not take it based on market growth over time. And that's what a lot of people got into, right, in COVID and through COVID and now. And so the scare of investing in real estate. Can you tell us, like, how did you first invest in real estate, at least what you would describe as investing in real estate?
What I tell my clients that want to start doing it?
I want to hear your first story.
What I'm doing?
Yeah.
Again, I am thinking long term because I know the super deal is not happening right now, not here, even though I am thinking about investing in Ohio because a client of mine told me you can buy and flip houses like for $60,000, so I might do it.
But you can get a house for $1 in Detroit, I think, right now.
I don't think this is, it happened. I don't think you can find it, but I'm thinking about it. But I'm investing here. And for me, it's the long term. So I'm not stuck in the cash flow. I'm more focused and being smart, checking areas that I see more growth, not going crazy, not taking super high risks. And as long as I kind of, if I don't pay off like on a monthly basis, if I'm not losing money or if I'm even losing a tiny bit, if I see a lot of potential long term, I'm doing it. And it's been working.
How's it been on the lending side related to investments, right? Like, what's that been like? Even for you as brokers, you're 1099. You have to have a stable and steady income. You've got to be able to document where income comes from. Do you find, generally speaking, from as a 1099 person, when you think about investing, is that a super tight market right now? You have to have more relationship based opportunities to get funding in those scenarios.
I don't think so because many lenders are doing now I have to DSCR or DSCRS.
Debt service coverage ratio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it? Because
Debt service coverage ratio?
yes.
Oh, I can't give an official mathematical
I know.
definition right now.
But basically, no, just so people understand what
Sure.
we are talking about, you have to show the house you want to buy and kind of a market analysis to say how much rent you're going to get from the house. And based on that, the lender will give you. So it's not about your income, but how much the house will bring. And if they see that the math works, you get the loan. And this is what I think people should focus on.
Yeah, the perspective put it in is the baseline is 1.0, literally the number. If you make enough to cover the debt and the expenses related to the debt servicing of the property, then that would be a 1.0. That's the baseline. You make exactly the enough that you need to in order to pay the expenses, that's a 1.0. You want to be above 1 because that means that you make more than the debt. If you're sub 1, then you're what's called underwater.
Yes. But again, I would never recommend being underwater, even though I do have clients that go a little underwater on purpose because they have a very set area they are looking for and they are okay. They have enough money to be underwater and it's just nothing because they know how much money they will make in the future in that area. I think they are amazing and inspiring. Actually, for people that watch my Instagram last week, I showed this horrible house. I was with these clients. So underwater, only if you have a very good financial situation that you're not going to need the money. Again, we are talking about long-term investment. You start kind of at zero, and in 5 years with rental rates increasing every year, houses appraising every year, and you're paying off your mortgage, you will, if you have the calm you need for the market, you will make money long term. You just can't get desperate and sell first time you have an issue.
It's short of raw land, and even in that category, there's still some level of management required. But it's not, when people say passive income, the reality of it is it's not passive. It does take a level. Even if you have a property management company who manages everything, you're still having to be on some phone calls. You're still having to respond to messages. You are still having to play an active role to some degree, no matter what, if you enter the space of real estate. So when you talk to these investors, you've got multiple. You've got probably some all across the spectrum.
Yes.
But let's say it's somebody, maybe a past client who was a first-time home buyer, sees now so much and loves the value of real estate, understands it, has gotten a taste of it, and then they come to you and say, okay, I want to invest. How do you check their mindset at the door almost? How do you say to them, well, if you want to invest, this is the road now we start. We're not talking about just buying you a home as your primary residence. W-2 gets it done right nice and easy with the lender. We're entering a different world. What's that like?
I have a meeting with them in person or like a Zoom or FaceTime, and I explain the different kinds of investment and the one I think is the ideal for a regular person to start investing. So something that doesn't cost much, actually no flips or nothing crazy, maybe paint, maybe a new kitchen, but nothing. And then the long-term game, it doesn't have to be long-term, but 3, 4, 5-year game to start making the money.
Sure. Even take
This
the
is
2
how I
years for the
think.
capital gains.
Yes,
Even take the 2
yes.
years minimum for the capital gains.
So this
But
is how because of YouTube and Google and Instagram, too many people watching miracle influencers talk about how easy it is, and then I tell them the reality. That's not easy. that it requires tons of being at the right time, at the right place, at the right moment to make the money. So I always tell them, don't start thinking that the brr method is easy for everyone, because it is not. So start on the safe side. Get a house that is easily rentable, that might need minor work done in an area that will grow more than Mecklenburg, for instance, over time, or areas in Mecklenburg that will grow, in my opinion, and go from there. And then learn with a safe house, and then buy the second house, buy the third. And then little by little, you learn how to be an actual investor. Because yes, even though you have, and some people, I think they're crazy, they choose to manage themselves. I have a manager. You still get calls and you have to be active, even if you have a manager taking care of it.
And where the debt service coverage ratio lenders make their money is in the points and the fees, right? Like that's
Yes.
ultimately where it was. You pay fees up front. You've got a little bit higher of an interest rate, but it's all relative to the month, to the amount of money that you bring in each month on the rent. So it's a different way to calculate it, right? And so the lending side and what you're seeing there, is there any new products that you think come of the market that make it easy to get back into real estate investing for people in the right scenario? Or some type of way to invest more, or is it only about inventory? Is inventory the only thing that matters right now?
No, I think lending, and I mean, I work with some brokers that do some magic and can help find ways for regular people to invest without taking too much of a risk. I don't want my new investors to take I don't think it's the right thing to do, to take a high risk in the beginning. And I do have brokers that can have many different options for clients to decide what's best.
And when you get into investing, and you're saying long term, aka get a tenant inside the property, rent it out long term, collect the monthly rent checks, manage the property. In a lot of cases, at least in many scenarios, typically within a residential lease, every single one is customizable. Every lease contract, it can all be negotiated. But typically what you see is that the landlord being responsible in residential space for some repairs,
Yes.
most of repairs.
Yes.
And so getting involved in understanding air conditioning,
Yes.
roofs, plumbing, electrical, maintenance Monday, we're going to have to talk
We
about
will
today
talk
at
about
some
it.
point.
And by the way, you said yes, find a house, a tenant, something that's awesome. And I'm always looking for me and my clients, it's actually a house for sale that has a tenant in place who wants to stay. So you close and you're making money already.
So
You
the
don't
numbers
even
have to
have
make
to worry
sense,
about
though.
yes. And it's not always that the numbers make sense. I had a house. I saw a house last week that could be interesting for one of my clients, and I actually thought maybe if they don't want it, I'll get it. But the numbers didn't make any sense, so we move on. The next house will come.
Are sellers' numbers making sense? Or are they out of this stratosphere a lot of the times? Or are they getting what they're asking for? Are you seeing
For
very
investments
in
or
general in the marketplace for all sellers right now? Are they still in la la land?
yes, I would say most of them, yes. There are talks about a shifting market that might come. I don't see it, but it might come when interest rates come down. But yes, it's still a seller's market. You can tell me whatever you want. It's still a seller's market. You just have to do the right thing.
Can I say the word that most brokers don't like to say?
Say it.
Zillow? Did I just hurt you? You weren't even ready for it either. I hit you with it from it was like
No,
a
it's
side
fine.
swipe there.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Go
Well, there's some
Zillow.
competition for Zillow.
There is, yes.
There's some
I'm curious
competition.
to see what's going to happen.
We'll find out. We're going to tell you about this. Also going to get more or less. Got to know, is it more or less active and coming soon properties on the market? We'll find out.
Stay with us. Today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis will be back after these messages on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, getting into a new work week, but the same old weather we've been used to for the last several days. Summertime really starting to lock in. The heat and humidity not going anywhere, and so very little to no chance of rain over the next several days. High temperatures in the upper 80s this afternoon, falling back in the mid-60s tonight. Upper 80s to near 90 through the middle of the week, and then we get even hotter as we get into the latter part of the week and into the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Horn Heating and Air Conditioning is looking for HVAC rock stars. If you want to work for a company that values its employees with great pay and benefits, then give Horn Heating and Air Conditioning a try. Horn Heating and Air Conditioning, hornhvac.com.
Coming into the spring months, Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville, we have got you covered for any vehicle need, whether it's a new F-150, a brand new Lincoln Nautilus or Navigator, or maybe a budget vehicle like a good pre-owned vehicle. Let me make this even more special for you. 2023 Ford Escape starting at $21,995. These are SEs, all-wheel drives. You pick the color. The deals are here. Randy Marion Ford Lincoln right here in Statesville, I-77, exit 49B.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Imagine your X or Instagram or TikTok account coming with a warning label. Well, it could happen. The U.S. Surgeon General calling on Congress to require warning labels on social media platforms, similar to what we see on packages of cigarettes, saying that those sites can contribute to the mental health crisis among the nation's young people. On Wall Street, stocks starting off the new week with some pretty solid gains today. That's ahead of a read on retail sales for May out tomorrow and the Juneteenth holiday on Wednesday. All the markets are closed. Right now, the Dow is up more than 200 points, 0.6% higher. The Nasdaq, which began the day at a record high, up 1.25%, and the S&P is up 1%. Tupperware closing down its last remaining plant in the U.S. in South Carolina, moving all manufacturing to Mexico. And five-time Olympian Shaun White is launching the Snow League. It's a year-round professional snowboarding tour where top riders can earn prize money. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
We're back with more of today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate. Zillow's got competition, maybe. They might have competition. Have you heard? Do you know who Sam Altman is?
I heard the name. I'm not 100% familiar with him.
ChatGPT, have you ever used it?
Yes, I've tested it.
So he is the original, I believe, creator, if you would, architect of ChatGPT, OpenAI at least, somewhere in that realm of AI, specifically that company. Have you heard about the whole drama with Apple and iOS and potentially having ChatGPT inside of it and all that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Elon beefing with him, that whole thing.
Yes.
Well, I saw this article where there's a new, I don't know if it's really new because iBuyers have been around for a while, but Sam Altman is invested in particular AI real estate companies, and that one being Zero Down was the name of the company. But there's another iBuyer company, Fly Homes. Are iBuy companies still a threat in the marketplace right now? And I don't mean threat in the sense of, okay, to you as a broker because you're going to do what you're going to do. I mean in the concept of valuation of creating kind of these anomalies, right, in the marketplace from the numbers perspective. Because if it's just numbers on paper, well, then thinking of the community as a whole and really analyzing future, just doing it off of data doesn't necessarily do it justice. So are iBuyers still competitive in the market right now?
I wish I had checked numbers because I do not know. Many companies tried, many companies keep trying, and I think their market share is ridiculous because I think it doesn't work. I think people still need the relationship and the trust. Yes, with AI and the whole GTP thing, GPT, it might get a little better, but I don't see it being a threat to the way the market really works, because I think the human factor will always be the prior. It's a major, major thing in everyone's life, and I don't think a computer can take over. And an iBuyer, same thing. Maybe this new iBuyer might be better than the other ones. I don't think they'll take over regular people selling and helping people buy homes.
Sam Altman, AI architect, invests in zero down, acquired by Flywheel. Flywheel, you can buy, sell, get iBuy offer right there on the spot, AI style. Does AI make real estate easier, change it different, or is it for now a back-end computing concept?
It might change something in the future. I know many agents are using it. I look at it and I try to get used to it. And
using it in what way? Like how are you seeing agents using AI? Is it in descriptions for their properties and things like
helping
that?
description,
Yeah.
Helping with the everyday life of an agent. I call me old. I just think it's a super fake way to do it. I do think that using AI to help people figure out schools, things around the area, but so many other firms and sites are doing it already. I don't think it will change much. I know Homes.com is trying to take over or compete with Zillow. And for you to have an idea, they spent, and we had them in a meeting in our office at Compass last week. They have been also spent millions of dollars understanding everything, understanding the market, and trying to get Zillow. And their main thing is that, let's say, Zillow feeds from MLS, right? So people have to understand Zillow is not magical. They get information. We agents add to MLS.
It's the Zestimate part of the valuation that
everything
is
else.
Zillow's.
Like, I saw on Zillow. You only saw it on Zillow because agents are providing the information. Same thing with Redfin, Compass, all the Realtor.com. It all comes from the agents from MLS.
Homes.com.
Homes.com. So they are trying to take the market or part of the market from Zillow. Zillow, and it's more this, the link, the article you sent shows Zillow as being responsible for 50% of the market. Home said that it's more, like the graph we had, it's probably 75% of the market is controlled by Zillow. Market, when I mean like people look at Zillow to look for houses. And Homes.com is trying to take that market by simply putting more, highlighting the agents, the listing agents, because Zillow, if you pay to be on a listing, even though I'm listing the house, a different name will show up as long as you pay Zillow. Homes.com wants to highlight the listing agent. So if I list the house, it's my name that's going to be there. It's my contact information. And this is how they see it, investing millions of dollars. And it's the agents that is the goal. You know, the goal for Homes.com is to highlight the person, the agents. So I do think that most people will still want the personal relationship. AI might help, but I don't think it's going to take over or disrupt the industry.
Yeah, the pricing model concept, right, of data and calculation. I don't know necessarily, because again, so many factors of real life, I guess, go into a market. And again, how you feel when you come into a place. I don't mean to say buy emotionally. I mean, if you're going to live somewhere, that's also different than investing. Investing probably, if I had to guess, unless talking residential specifically, right, it comes after the kind of vision is there for what a community is and what it can grow toward, right? But something that has existed much longer than iBuyers, maybe a similar concept almost in a different way, like less technology-wise, for sale by owners. I mean, those have been around in the market forever. They don't want anything to do with brokers, and they want to be able to, get more money and claim it's by saving fees.
More money.
But no, not the seller. The company gets more money because they're saying the iBuy companies get more because they're saying, hey, you don't need a broker, but they're not reducing the sales prices, right? Like, or they're not reducing. They're still charging you fees in other ways.
Yes.
They're calling it different.
Thank you.
They're calling
Thank you
it
for
different.
saying that.
Right.
They say, they advertise that they don't charge commission, but they charge convenience fees.
Right.
That is
It's
the same thing.
It's actually less because you with the
charge
iBuy, they
repairs
represent
and everything.
themselves.
Yes.
They don't represent you. That's the other thing in the iBuyers. They represent themselves. They are the buyer or the seller. They are their own client in the equation. That's always too. What's a representation seems to be pretty important.
It is. And now we mix the whole NAR commission story, the for sale by owner, the iBuyers. And I still think that people should know that you can talk to an agent or more than one agent, interview people and see and check and learn about the options. I had a client that texted me this weekend. He thought at first that because he's going to sell his house, so he thought it was easier and he could save on commission to post on the Facebook group in his neighborhood and see if someone came and offered him a house. So someone came, and I'm very glad to say that he texted me to show me the numbers, and I quickly ran the numbers. And basically, by listing with me or someone, but I did a market analysis. I know the house. I helped him buy the house. After paying commission, even if he still chooses and does the smart thing, what I believe is offer some buyer commission, and we can talk about it later, but even after paying commission, closing costs, everything, he would walk away with about $285 with me. And with this off the market as a for sale by owner with a person, he would walk away because the person sent numbers to him, $208. So he would be not making almost $80,000. Why? Because the person said, hey, you're not on the market. You don't have to show your house. So I give you the money. But at the same time, and the person was making him believe that it was an out of this world, awesome opportunity. You can choose the date you close. You don't have to clean the house. I'll give you the money. Nice and easy. And he would leaving almost $80,000, at least $80,000, because we could have
as
multiple offers.
Fee,
as a convenience, yeah. Like I'm being so nice. I love you so much. You don't have to do anything. I won't give you $80,000. Right. But I'm glad he called me and say, hey, does this make sense? And I'm like, no. But I wonder how many for sale by owners think they are being smart by saving commission, but they are actually leaving so much money on the table because they don't talk to people.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because of the iBuy companies, they got to make money. The limited service brokers, they got to make money.
Of course.
People are all making money through the process.
The main thing for me is like make sure you know the options and you put them side by side. And who knows, you might choose to do it anyway. And it's your right. But please don't believe the first good soul that comes to you and helps you not show your house, because there's no free lunch, especially the ones that spend millions of dollars on TV all the time. You are the one paying for it. I always say you're the one paying for it. They pretend they're friends and they pretend they're helping you. They're not. They're making money out of you. And then they will resell the house for the actual market value. And you could have done it anyway, and you would keep the money, not the iBuyers.
Well, do you want to sell your house? You should definitely call Claudia if you want to sell your house, but also just purely for inventory. More or less? Are there more or less?
More.
Oh, she's already locking in the answer.
I
didn't even get to explain the equation. You're already locking in answers.
More.
Okay. It's
$1,250.
That's all you need to know. Whatever it is, the more or less, the answer is more. I'll tell you what that game is, or just on the other side. Also, Maintenance Monday. We got to make sure that we're taking care of the property. We got to make sure that we can keep it in top-notch condition to get the ultimate value for it, the best value possible. When you go to sell it, that's ultimately part of the process. And just adulting generally with the property, is that kind of what it is? Maintenance is adulting? A little bit.
Yes.
Claudia Ogrizek, Compass Real Estate, coming back.
More of today's Real Talk with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, getting into a new work week, but the same old weather we've been used to for the last several days. Summertime really starting to lock in. The heat and humidity not going anywhere, and still very little to no chance of rain over the next several days. High temperatures in the upper 80s this afternoon, falling back in the mid-60s tonight. Upper 80s to near 90 through the middle of the week, and then we get even hotter as we get into the latter part of the week and into the weekend. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree Lab, get your weekend off to an early start on Thursday night with a Kids in America concert. This totally 80s tribute band will get you up and dancing. Event time is 6:30 p.m. with the concert beginning at 7. We will see you and your chairs Thursday, June 20th at Langtree, Lake Norman. Friday night at RevFast in Mooresville is the monthly Hot Rods and Hops car show. Cool cars, motorcycles, and trucks will be on display. LKN Mobile Eats and Hoptown Brewing will be on hand with smash burgers and cold brews. Join us Friday after 5 p.m. at the Late Apex Storage Condos in Mooresville for Hot Rods and Hops. Birkdale's Live Under the Oaks concert series continues on Friday. The Ryan Bumgardner solo musical performance begins at 6 p.m. Kick back and relax on the green in front of the stage at Birkdale Village in Huntersville for the free Ryan Bumgardner concert Friday night. The annual Symphony in the Park is back this Saturday in Cornelius. Bailey Road Park welcomes the Charlotte Symphony and fireworks. Bring your chairs and blankets to enjoy this free, family-friendly show. The Symphony in the Park program and fireworks celebration begins at 6 p.m. Saturday at Bailey Road Park in Cornelius. The Kane Center for the Arts Week 3 of summer camps begins Monday, June 24th. Morning and afternoon camps for ages 5 to 17 include art, ceramics, paint, and clay. For more information on summer camp programs, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. The Cookout Summer Shootout Series is racing ahead at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 10-race series night number 4 is on Tuesday, June 25th. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets, details, and information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Call now to speak with Claudia Ogrizek and Justin Ckezepis at 844-STUDIO-4. It's today's Real Talk on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Today's Real Talk, the show focused on North Carolina real estate. Justin Ckezepis, Claudia Ogrizek of Compass Real Estate. More or less precedes Maintenance Monday.
It's more, I would say, touching 1,300.
More or less, 500,000 or less is the sales price baseline. I'm saying by county, so we're going to start with Mecklenburg. Active and coming soon within Canopy MLS. Claudia Ogrizek says it is more than last week, which we were saying last week was 1,293 active and coming soon.
No, I think it's 1,293 today. I think it was a little less than that. My number this week is 1,293.
Okay, 1,293. You think last week it was less than that?
A little less, yes.
Okay. Claudia Ogrizek, you are
wrong. Every time. It's always the opposite.
1,257 coming soon and active listings, 500,000 or less in Mecklenburg County.
Can AI help us track the numbers? Because we never remember the number from previous. Can AI, please, hey, hello, AI, can you save the numbers and come back every week?
If only. I thought you were going to say, which something we talked about this morning was, can AI actually do something more than just math for me, like build more houses, right? Like, like I want it to be able to do my laundry for me, right? Or like, so, that would work. But no, I don't think it will do that for us.
Yeah, are you using AI? I try, and when I have a new listing, I asked AI to create, but I can't use it because it's too fake and it drives me crazy, so I have to write it.
We'll start tracking Iredell too on this. 470 units, 500,000 or less. 470 active and coming soon. Iredell County.
470. Okay. So next week we talk about Mecklenburg and Iredell.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Let me write them down.
Under 5. Write it down.
1257 on Mech. I'm gonna guess that's about right. And then we're at 470 on Iredell.
Let's do it. Please write it down. Are
Okay.
you gonna lose the? You have.
No,
to
I'm gonna
keep
tape
it.
this.
Okay.
I'm writing it down on a sticky note. I'm gonna tape this sticky note on my wall and then just bring it in here every Monday at 3 o'clock.
It's easier. We never really memorize the numbers.
No, you can't. All right, so less inventory this week than last week. It's summertime. People are traveling. Maybe it's just the normal schedule right now, though there's usually a lot of activity. The normal cycle pre-COVID, summertime was your hottest market. People were willing to move more during the summertime because of schools. That's typically what it relates to in the marketplace. Yeah. Spring inventory rises. You get some more sales through the summertime. By the time you get to fall, kids are back in school. Yes. Things usually calm down. Good luck selling a house at Christmas.
I know. I actually have new buyers asking me if they should take a break and wait till mid-August. I'm like, look, honestly, right now, I think it's the time because most people want to list now People that are listing, they're listing now because most buyers want to move before school starts. Most people. So I said, don't take a break right now. This is not the moment. Let's try to find a house. I'm actually leaving the radio show to go show homes. Like no break.
Are you seeing properties sit on the market longer at all over the past few weeks?
Yes.
You think that's because of price?
Because of price, condition, yes. It's always, I am a firm believer that it's not about location. You can say whatever you want. It's not location. It's price. It's the right price. For the right price, there will be buyers buying anywhere. It doesn't matter. If the price is right, you sell the house. And condition, of course, and location, they help, but it's pricing. It's all about pricing.
Location plus condition equals pricing?
Yeah.
Is that a fair equation?
But the same thing, like if you find an okay house in an okay location with a fantastic price, would you buy it? Very likely.
Depends on my needs.
Yes.
And everyone's needs are different.
Yeah.
And, location is relevant to the person's needs. Are you finding a wide variety of needs for buyers still in this marketplace, or is it pretty consolidated down?
I think it's pretty average buyer. People want the same thing, a nice yard, private and shaded. Make sure you plant those trees. Dedicated office, guest bedroom, and a full bath downstairs on the main floor is a major thing right now.
What about
Bonus
garages?
Rooms.
I got a theory on garages. What about garages these days?
Well, people always like garages too.
It's a nice thing to have.
Yes.
Don't have to, though.
I think it's crazy that even in the larger homes, it's very rare to find 3 or 4 garages. So I always, which I think is an obvious thing, many American families have kids that have cars the second they turn 16.
Or just storage.
But then, well, yeah, most people use it as storage. But I think it's crazy that houses, let's say the 500,000 or don't come with 3 or even 4 car garages. So because of that, I always tell clients to look at the driveway. You have to have a 4-car driveway for future people don't pay attention to that. But yeah, garages. But I think more than garages, having a dedicated office is a major plus. Having a guest bedroom and a full bath downstairs, a major plus, and a nice, decent yard. It doesn't have to be large, but usable yard, flat.
What about HOA?
I would say most people do accept and understand the importance of HOA. Is it a pain? Kind of, yeah, but it protects the value of your house. So when people really think about it, they don't want to follow the rules, but when they realize that by not having an HOA, your neighbor can have whatever your neighbor wants in their backyard, and that can destroy your property value, most people choose the HOA to be protected.
You seeing a lot of new construction changes in the past couple of weeks, potentially, or are we still in the same holding pattern because it's purely about inventory? You're the new construction queen.
Yeah, it's still going steadily, slowly, but I did tell you, I think, about the delays in closing because of Duke Energy not having
generators.
So,
or at least power boxes,
yes, so
where you connect in the main.
Nothing crazy, but it's a weird kind of COVID vibe right now when we didn't have windows or we didn't have the HVAC units. So now the big thing is Duke Energy not having the transformers, the machinery or whatever they need. So some new construction are being affected by that. But I would say delaying what we thought would be the closing maybe 2-3 weeks. So it's nothing crazy, but it's happening.
Comparison people will make is the value they get for new construction compared to the resale market. Part of the resale market is, like you said, condition of the home. Maintenance Monday. What you got on tap? What do we need to be maintaining at our homes?
Let's talk about the electrical part of the house. Pay attention to malfunctioning outlets, flickering lights, condition of your panel. Don't go crazy adding a bunch of stuff without checking the power your panel is able to deal with. Very important because it can, it's a fire hazard. So flickering lights, failing outlets, breakers not working, just get someone and fix it before it's too late. Maintain your houses, please. Love your houses.
And you can help a seller who maybe doesn't know the condition of their house and they need to get a pre-inspection done. Do you find most sellers actually know the condition, like in the things around that are broken, and they hide it, or they just don't know?
I truly believe they just don't know, especially the things kind of behind the walls or unused rooms in the house, or again, attic, crawl space. People don't go there. I do believe they don't know what's going on. And unfortunately, many don't want to spend the money, I would say, on a pre-inspection. Actually, I was thinking about it this morning. I would love things if the inspectors created some kind of program. Let's say you buy the house, you inspect the house with me, and then if we have an agreement that every 2 years or every 3 years I come back, I charge you less, but every 3 years, let's say, you have the house re-inspected so you can maintain it, because we don't know what's going on in the house. So inspectors, if you want to do that, it would be amazing. Because I would say the average person doesn't want to spend around $500 just to see if everything, because if they don't see that something is wrong, they're not going to spend the money to check if something is wrong. But there's so many details in a house that need maintenance that it would be amazing if we could have some kind of a program to have a biannual whatever program.
So so for condition, price, location, right, whatever way we cut the formula, Mecklenburg County, we know the numbers there. There's less inventory this week at 500,000 left. You're a big proponent of Belmont. You love that area out there as well.
I'm going to be there on Wednesday.
Although it's expensive there too. So
Yes.
where are the areas for, let's say, the first-time home buyer, for those not bringing in, some big number per month, but want to find an affordable place in a good area to live? What are you seeing out there?
Still, I say the same ones that I'm a fan of, because I think you can get more house. Let's say I'm going to go kind of around Gastonia, Dallas, Stanley, by Huntersville and Denver. What else? Kannapolis, Salisbury, Rockwell, Pineville. Every now and then you can find something good in Pineville. Even though the location is pretty awesome, you can still find some in Pineville.
That's a pretty good range.
Yeah, kind of going around Charlotte. Matthews used to be good. Mint Hill, it's over. Very, prices went crazy over the past few years. So these that I mentioned, you can still find good, not awesome, but good deals that are worth checking.
All right, so you got to run to some appointments here after the show. What are you focusing on over the next week in the market? What are you interested in seeing anything change, or not that there's going to be big dramatic swings overnight, right? But what are you seeing out there that you're wanting to pay attention to a little bit in the marketplace in general?
Right now, I'm not going to lie, it's not even about the market. It's about the changes that are coming. They are coming in 2 months, but the buyer agency thing, again, this client of mine, do we have time, that talked about trying to sell by owner. First question when he asked me, he said, do I have to pay a buyer's commission? And then I explained what I believe is the right thing to do. Do you have to pay a buyer's commission? No. Is it a good idea to offer that as part of your agreement? Yes, because the buyer's agents are the ones that have the buyers that will come and put an offer on your house. And again, if you're not paying, there's no buyer that will offer full price because they know you're not paying commission. So there's no point, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting concept. What basically the government and the process of the lawsuit and the sellers and all that had sued the NAR and going through this whole process wanted to say, okay, sellers don't have to, but if you don't in the marketplace, again, it's not that someone's going to not steer you in a different direction. It's just contractually now there's going to be an agreement.
Yep.
Today's Real Talk. See you next week.
Serving you better than ever before. 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.